my dad's gonna kill me for this.
As predicted, David's parents are not taking the news of Celeste's murder gently. Word is that David's parents had long suspected something darker about David and his sneaking around with Celeste. And if that's true, the fallout could destroy far more than just his career. Let's break it all down. The discovery and identification. The allegations of murder against David have shattered his carefully constructed artistic persona and forced his parents into the spotlight, reacting publicly as investigators detail what they describe as one of the most chilling crimes involving a young musician. The immediate response came from David's parents, who found themselves inundated with reporters demanding a statement. According to early coverage, their reaction combined shock, denial, and an insistence that their son had been misunderstood by both investigators and the public. But to understand why the public thinks David murdered Celeste, let's take a quick backtrack into the buildup of events till now. On September 8th, 2025, what started as a routine day at a Hollywood impound lot would quickly transform into something far more sinister. Workers at Hollywood Tow, going about their normal duties, began to notice something that would change everything. A pervasive, unmistakable foul odor emanating from a sleek black Tesla Model 3 that had been sitting in their lot for several days. This wasn't just any vehicle. The 2023 Tesla, bearing Texas license plates, was registered to David Anthony Burke, better known to millions of fans around the world as David, the 20-year-old singer whose melancholic tracks like Romantic Homicide had catapulted him to international stardom. The car had been towed from the Hollywood Hills after being abandoned for what neighbors described as weeks, sitting motionless on upscale residential streets where the smell had begun to raise concerns among local residents. When Los Angeles Police Department officers arrived at the impound lot that September afternoon, they were prepared for many things, but nothing could have prepared them for what they would discover when they opened the front trunk, or frunk, of that Tesla. Inside, wrapped in black plastic bags and severely decomposed, were human remains that would soon be identified as belonging to a missing teenager. The condition of the remains was disturbing beyond description. The body was not intact, suggesting possible dismemberment, and had been deceased for what investigators estimated to be several weeks to months. The advanced state of decomposition made immediate identification challenging, but forensic teams immediately began their painstaking work to determine who this person was and how they had ended up in such horrific circumstances. For over a week, the identity of the victim remained a mystery that captivated public attention and sparked widespread speculation across social media platforms. The connection to David, a young artist who had risen from creating Fortnite montage videos to international fame through the power of TikTok, added an element that made this case unlike any other recent celebrity scandal. Then, on September 17, 2025, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office made the identification that would send shockwaves through communities across California and beyond. The remains were those of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore, California, who had been missing since April 5, 2024. Celeste's story was one that resonated with families everywhere who had experienced the nightmare of a missing child. Born on September 7, 2009, she was described by those who knew her as an outgoing and artistic teenager with wavy black hair and brown eyes. At 5 feet 1 inch tall and weighing approximately 120 pounds, she had been last seen wearing gray pants, a black sweater, a hat, and Hello Kitty sandals when she disappeared. But it wasn't just her physical description that would help identify Celeste. The medical examiner's report noted a distinctive tattoo on her right index finger, the word "shh" in red ink, a design that would prove crucial in confirming her identity. This seemingly small detail would become one of the most significant pieces of evidence in a case that was already raising more questions than answers. The identification brought both relief and renewed anguish to Celeste's family, who had been living in limbo for over a year, not knowing what had happened to their daughter. Her mother, Maria Hernandez, spoke to media outlets about the devastating moment she learned the truth, saying she had immediately suspected the worst when she heard about the discovery in the Tesla. The family had endured 17 months of uncertainty, clinging to hope while fearing the worst. The last time anyone had seen Celeste alive was on April 5, 2024, when she had reportedly left her home in Lake Elsinore, a Riverside County community, located about 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Her brother Matthew would later reveal that Celeste had been on her way to see a movie with him when she simply vanished, never to return home. What made this case even more complex and troubling were the immediate connections that began to emerge between Celeste and the owner of the vehicle where her remains were found. Celeste's mother revealed to investigators and media that her daughter had been dating someone named David around the time of her disappearance, a revelation that immediately raised questions about the connection to David Anthony Burke, the real name behind the David persona. But the connections didn't stop there. there. As investigators and online sleuths began digging deeper, they discovered that both Celeste and David shared that same distinctive shh tattoo on their right index fingers. While this type of tattoo isn't entirely unique, celebrities like Rihanna have similar designs. The coincidence was striking enough to fuel widespread speculation about the nature of their relationship. Social media investigators quickly uncovered what appeared to be evidence of online interactions between David and someone named Celeste on his Discord server, with conversations allegedly dating back to 2022, when Celeste would have been just 12 years old. Screenshots circulating on social media platforms showed exchanges that many interpreted as evidence of an inappropriate relationship between the young artist and an underage fan. The timing of Celeste's disappearance also raised eyebrows. Reports emerged that David had been photographed in the Lake Elsinore area around the time Celeste went missing, adding another layer to the growing web of circumstantial evidence that was beginning to surround the case. The Los Angeles Police Department, working in conjunction with the Riverside County Sheriff's Office, immediately launched a homicide investigation. However, the cause of Celeste's death was listed as deferred by the medical examiner, meaning that additional tests and analysis would be needed before officials could determine exactly how she died. The advanced state of decomposition had made it extremely difficult to determine the cause of death through traditional autopsy methods. What investigators could determine was deeply disturbing. The remains showed signs of possible dismemberment, and the body had been carefully wrapped in plastic, suggesting that whoever was responsible had taken deliberate steps to conceal the crime. The methodical nature of the disposal suggested premeditation and a level of planning that made this case even more chilling. The investigation unfolds. As news of Celeste Rivas' identification spread across social media and mainstream news outlets, the spotlight intensified on David and his possible connection to the tragic case. The young artist, who had been in the middle of his Withered World tour when the body was discovered, suddenly found himself at the center of a homicide investigation that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of his rising career. David's representatives quickly issued a statement emphasizing his full cooperation with authorities, telling NBC News that David has been informed about what's happened, and although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with the authorities. However, the damage to his public image was swift and severe, with the artist canceling his September 17th Seattle show hours after Celeste's identification was announced. The cancellation marked the beginning of what would become a cascade of professional consequences. Major brands that had partnered with David, including Crocs and Hollister, quickly distanced themselves from the artist, dropping him from their collaborative campaigns and removing his image from promotional materials. The speed with which these corporate partnerships dissolved highlighted the serious nature of the allegations and the immediate impact they were having on David's commercial viability. But perhaps even more significant than the corporate fallout was the intensive law enforcement response that was beginning to unfold. On September 18, 2025, the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills rental home where David had been staying. The property, located in the 13000 block of Doheny Place, was rented by David's manager at Interscope Records, Josh Marshall, but neighbors had frequently observed David's Tesla parked outside. The search, which lasted approximately 12 hours and involved both homicide detectives and the LAPD's Scientific Investigation Division, was focused specifically on finding blood evidence. Investigators used luminol, a chemical that glows blue when it reacts with iron and hemoglobin, to detect even trace amounts of blood throughout the residence. They paid particular attention to drains and plumbing fixtures, checking for any biological residues that might indicate the location had been used to clean up after a violent crime. The thoroughness of the search suggested that investigators were exploring the possibility that Celeste may have been killed or dismembered inside the Hollywood Hills residence. Multiple items were seized during the search, including a computer and several evidence bags containing materials that would be subject to forensic analysis in the coming days. Meanwhile, as the official investigation proceeded through traditional law enforcement channels, a parallel investigation was taking place in the digital realm. Social media users, particularly on platforms like Twitter, now X, had begun conducting their own analysis of the case, uncovering what they believed to be evidence of a long-standing relationship between David and Celeste that predated her disappearance by several years. Online investigators pointed to resurfaced photographs that appeared to show David and a young girl matching Celeste's description together at events in Los Angeles as early as October 2023. Additional images appeared to show the pair during a live stream with fans, further suggesting a personal connection that extended beyond any casual fan interaction. Perhaps most disturbing were the allegations that emerged regarding their initial contact. According to reports from an alleged former teacher of Celeste's, she had first connected with David through social media media platforms when she was approximately 12 years old. The teacher claimed that Celeste had confided in him about meeting the singer online, and that this had led to her running away to Los Angeles earlier in 2024, only to be located by police and returned to her family. The allegations painted a picture of what many began to characterize as a grooming situation, an adult using his fame and influence to develop an inappropriate relationship with a vulnerable minor. The age difference between David, 20 years old, and Celeste, 15 at the time of her death, but potentially as young as 12 when their alleged relationship began, raised serious questions about the nature of their interactions and whether they constituted criminal behavior even before considering her death. Adding another layer of complexity to the case was the emergence of what appeared to be musical evidence. Social media users uncovered an unreleased demo track titled Celeste_Demo Unfin that had been recorded by David, featuring lyrics that repeatedly mentioned the name Celeste. While the authenticity and relevance of this track to the actual case remained unconfirmed, its existence added to the growing body of circumstantial evidence that suggested a deeper connection between the artist and the victim than had initially been apparent. The musical connection became even more eerie when social media users began re-examining David's breakthrough hit, Romantic Homicide. Released in 2022, the song featured lyrics about emotional numbness following the death of a romantic partner with lines like, "In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry, no, not a single tear."
So what inspired the hook, "In the back of my mind, you died," is kind of like the storytelling aspect of the lyrics that came before it, in a way that it builds up to the big moment where she died in the back of my mind. Like, I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear.
What made this particularly unsettling was the timing. Some social media users noted that the music video for Romantic Homicide had been uploaded to YouTube on September 7th, 2022, which was Celeste's birthday. However, this claim was later debunked, as the song itself had actually been released in July 2022, not on Celeste's birthday. During an interview, he acknowledged the risks of putting out such a dark record at his age.
Romantic Homicide, bro.
Why?
It was so different. So I sucked it up, I posted a snippet, and it went crazy overnight.
Nevertheless, the thematic parallels between David's artistic work and the circumstances of Celeste's death continued to fuel speculation and conspiracy theories across social media platforms. The music video for Romantic Homicide featured scenes of David's character symbolically shooting his girlfriend and cradling her body in the rain, imagery that many found disturbingly prophetic given the current circumstances.
I got this blindfold character that you see in my music videos that's gonna expand into like these different antagonists and protagonists and like a whole anime thing. It's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be crazy.
As the investigation continued, more details emerged about the timeline leading up to Celeste's disappearance and the eventual discovery of her remains. The Tesla in which her body was found had reportedly been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for several weeks before being towed. Neighbors in the area reported that the car had been parked in various locations since as early as mid-August 2025, with some noting a sewage-like smell emanating from the vehicle. The car was eventually towed from the 1400 block of Bluebird Avenue near the intersection with Doheny Drive after being reported as abandoned following the standard 72-hour notification period. The fact that it sat unattended for so long in the affluent Hollywood Hills neighborhood, combined with the developing odor, suggested that whoever had abandoned it had done so with the intention of distancing themselves from what was inside. Throughout this unfolding drama, David himself remained largely silent on social media and made no public statements addressing the allegations directly. His last post on X, formerly Twitter, had been on September 1st, 2025, predating the discovery of the body by a week. This silence, while potentially strategic from a legal standpoint, only served to fuel further speculation about his involvement and state of mind. The case was also drawing attention to broader issues within the music industry and social media culture, particularly regarding the interactions between young artists and their underage fans. Child safety advocates and experts in online exploitation began using the case as an example of the potential dangers that exist when celebrities have unfettered access to young fans through platforms like Discord, TikTok, and Instagram. Implications and ongoing investigations. As the investigation into Celeste Rivas' death continues to unfold, the case has taken on significance far beyond the immediate tragedy, raising fundamental questions about celebrity culture, online safety for minors, and the responsibilities that come with fame and influence. The allegations surrounding David have created ripple effects throughout the music industry and sparked important conversations about protecting vulnerable young fans from potential exploitation. The forensic challenges facing investigators cannot be overstated. as the advanced state of decomposition has made traditional autopsy methods extremely difficult. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office has had to employ specialized techniques and extended analysis to determine not only the cause of death, but also to establish a timeline for when Celeste actually died. The 17-month gap between her disappearance and the discovery of her remains has created additional complications for investigators trying to piece together what happened during that time. One of the most disturbing aspects of the case that has emerged through social media investigations involves allegations of sexual assault that occurred before Celeste's death. Circulating screenshots from alleged Instagram direct messages suggest that Celeste described non-consensual sexual encounters with David and an associate named Gus, possibly Gustavo Osorio. These unverified claims emerged on Twitter on September 17, 2025, but have not been authenticated by law enforcement. In the alleged messages, Celeste reportedly discussed bleeding during sexual encounters with David and a forced encounter with Gus while she was intoxicated. The messages also showed warnings from a friend identified as Shelly about staying safe around David. While these allegations have not been verified by authorities and could potentially be fabricated, they have added another deeply troubling dimension to an already horrific case. Online investigators have connected Gus to Gustavo Osorio, a David associate who was followed by the artist on social media until September 17, 2025, when David apparently unfollowed him shortly after the allegations surfaced. Discord searches in David's server have confirmed that Gus was indeed a real member of the community, though no incriminating messages have been found before the server's invites were paused. For Celeste's family, the ongoing investigation and media attention have been both a source of hope for justice and a continued source of pain. The family has launched a GoFundMe campaign to help cover funeral expenses, describing Celeste as a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend who was heartbroken and devastated by her loss. The campaign, which has been verified by GoFundMe's Trust and Safety team, has raised significant funds from a community rallying around the family during their time of grief. The impact on David's career has been swift and devastating. Beyond the canceled tour dates and dropped brand partnerships, the streaming numbers for his music have been affected, with some platforms seeing decreased plays, while others have experienced a morbid, curiosity-driven spike in streams. The artist, who had been on a meteoric rise to fame through social media platforms, now faces the possibility that his career may be permanently derailed by these allegations, regardless of the ultimate outcome of the investigation. Legal experts following the case have noted that if David were to be charged and convicted in connection with Celeste's death, he could face life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. California's laws impose severe penalties for homicides involving minors, especially when there are aggravating factors such as the victim's vulnerability or evidence of a prior relationship. The potential for federal charges related to alleged grooming activities could add additional layers to any eventual prosecution. The case has also drawn comparisons to other situations where musicians have faced serious criminal charges. Some have pointed to the case of rapper Billy Adams, who was convicted in 2024 of first-degree murder for shooting his pregnant girlfriend, as an example of how such charges can completely destroy an artist's career and result in life imprisonment. Others have noted cases like Snoop Dogg, who was acquitted of murder charges in 1996 and went on to have a highly successful career, demonstrating that artists can sometimes recover from serious allegations if they are ultimately cleared. However, the circumstances of this case, involving a minor victim and allegations of grooming, may make any potential recovery much more difficult than in previous celebrity cases. The #MeToo movement and increased awareness of sexual exploitation have created a cultural environment where allegations involving minors are taken particularly seriously by both the public and the industry. As of September 18, 2025, the LAPD has confirmed that they are following several leads in their investigation, but have not made any arrests or named any suspects. The department has emphasized the ongoing nature of the investigation and urged the public to avoid speculation that could interfere with their work. The forensic analysis of evidence seized during the Hollywood Hills search warrant is expected to take several weeks or even months to complete. This includes not only potential biological evidence, but also digital forensics that could reveal crucial information about communications, location data, and other electronic evidence that might help establish a timeline of events. Meanwhile, the broader music industry is grappling with the implications of this case for how artists interact with their fans, particularly young ones. Record labels, streaming platforms, and social media companies are all facing pressure to implement better safeguards to protect minors from potential exploitation by the artists they admire. The case has also highlighted the role that social media plays in modern criminal investigations, with online communities conducting their own research and analysis that sometimes uncovers evidence before official investigators. While this crowdsourced investigation can sometimes be helpful, it also raises concerns about misinformation, harassment of innocent people, and the potential for interfering with official law enforcement efforts. For the music community that David was part of, the allegations have been particularly shocking. As a young artist who had risen to fame through platforms like TikTok and had built his career on vulnerable, emotional music about heartbreak and mental health, the idea that he could be involved in such serious crimes has forced many in his circle to reevaluate what they thought they knew about him. As this investigation continues to unfold, one thing remains clear. The tragedy of Celeste Rivas's death has already had far-reaching implications that extend well beyond the immediate criminal case. It has sparked important conversations about online safety, celebrity responsibility, and the protection of vulnerable young people in our digital age. Whatever the ultimate outcome of the legal proceedings, the impact of this case will likely be felt throughout the music industry and beyond for years to come. The search for justice for Celeste Rivas continues, and her family's plea for answers resonates with communities across the country who are demanding accountability and hoping that her tragic death might lead to meaningful changes that could protect other young people from similar fates. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.